I should mention, now comes the hard part. Alright, so today is going to be quite a fun video, I think, and really fun because I'm actually going to get something out of it tangibly. We're going to cover how to soundproof, or rather one of the ways to soundproof a room, especially if you're in an apartment complex, and what's the best way to do that. And more importantly, we're going to soundproof it that can be removed, right? We don't want to cover up a window, which is really where the majority of the sound is coming from, and not be able to use it, like open it up. So I'm going to show you a couple neat things that I thought maybe would work best for the solution. You may want to soundproof a room because you're doing videos at night, or maybe during the day. Many folks, especially if you are doing videos on YouTube and you have to record, you're typically having to wait until midnight. I've even heard of some folks, 3 or 4 a.m. having to wake up. So that may be one reason why you want to soundproof a room. Second, maybe you're working from home and it's time for you to study and you just want to get straight to it. And I think number 3, which is very relevant, is if you have a baby, a small child, and they wake up easily when they hear a lot of noise, this is a great opportunity to think, how can I make a quick removable solution that anyone in the family can, any adult can quickly move in and out, and at the same time really have that noise reduction that we're asking for. 75 inches height, width is 35. I went to Home Depot and I grabbed actually it's slightly more, but let's just say it's a 1/2 inch thick multi-plywood board, and I'll show you the sides of this. And the reason I grabbed this particular board when I went there is I wanted to assure, so you can buy like particle board and all these different types of wood, but I specifically chose this board because it's sandwiched 4 or 5, I'll take a look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, it sandwiches 5 different types of wood. They're all different, let's see if I can, they're all different hardnesses because due to the density and due to the type of wood that they're at. When we think about frequency, what kind of frequency is it going to block? So we have sound that's coming in this way, and at each one of these layers, since it's a slightly different piece of wood, I'm not a wood expert, I couldn't tell you what it is, but I do know that there are different types, not only by the coloring, but you can actually rub against this with your fingernail and see some of them you can score, and some of the other ones don't score at all. So we have different types of wood, which is perfect, and it really just prevents as much sound as possible, and that's why I chose this thick wood. The other thing is, how are we going to move this thing in and off? All right, I said, well, we need to make it removable. How in the world are we going to remove it? So what I have is, I grabbed these again from Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever, hardware store, True Value, and got some nice thick handles, and I grabbed around to make sure that my manly hands could get around it, knowing that because it's going to be heavy, and I want to make sure that there's plenty of room for me. And the idea here is going to be, once we get this recessed in, I will have 2 handles on the side here, kind of like this. I'll move it up a little bit. So anyone my height can just grab it, lift it up, and then move it aside. This other thing that I grabbed, right, because we have this board, it's rather large, it can be heavy, and we certainly don't want it to fall over, right? We need it to stay recessed into this window frame. So what I have are these steel middle guards. Now I will have these on this side because of the way that I will add this to it, but just an example, I'll put it on this side. I'm going to have this on the side and just put 2 screws in, and the other part of this, about half, is going to stick out. Okay, so when this board comes in, I'll just push it in here and slide it so it will stay here and prevent from coming down. Now, because of where my window is, right, in accordance with what's around me, I will have it on the other side. So I will have it on this very right hand side here, so that I will take this soundproof board, I will set it in, recess that in, and that will prevent this from sliding back. And then once this is done, there's also a couple of things that we need to address. On the around the piece of wood, it's not going to fit once I cut this down, but it's not going to be a perfect tight fit. So there's a couple solutions out there. You could add some type of rubber edging, some silicone edging, completely up to you. And again, for me, my purpose is this needs to be removable, so I may have to give a little up. The other thing that I think is really neat is there are many, many, many soundproof mats. So you could, in theory, now for me, this is in the way in terms of where this board rests, but here I have a lot more room. So in theory, at the very top of my piece of wood, I could go down about 1.5 inches, and I could layer this entire part with maybe another 1/2 inch thick of soundproof rubber. It's completely up to how you want to do it. Again, many different solutions. This is just my solution to fit into the environment that I'm in. So I don't have my glasses, so we'll just roll with this. I ran it through 3 times, just shaving off a little bit, and it fits just like a glove. So you got to move it in a little bit to align it, but that's perfectly acceptable. And you can see it's not all the way in there because the top also needs to be addressed. Alright, that's it. That is it. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is, this camera should be pretty sensitive to pick up noise. I'm going to set it right here before this and then after, just so you can hopefully hear the huge difference between the noise. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's without a doubt completely different. Alright, so moment of truth. This is really what we're looking for, right? Easy in, easy out. And then the next we need to worry about just keeping this secure. So let's take a look at that. We've got our handles here, and as you can see, much easier to lift it up than putting your hand here. You don't want to slice it or anything else like that. So the way that I would envision this is just lift it up, set it in, and again, you don't need to touch the edges. Just use the handles, scoot it in, jiggle it in here, and you're done. And move it to the right. And now the fun, easy part of all of this. So as I mentioned, this is what this is really for. I'm going to secure on the right hand side, maybe one here and one here, and then I'm going to put 2 of them. One at the very top, well, one top-ish, and then one close to the bottom-ish. Now the reason I'm doing that, why not just have one center? 2 things. One, by having one at the very top and one at the very bottom, it'll prevent bowing or the appearance of it, because we want to make sure that this is flat up against this window frame as absolutely possible. The other thing is, if it's in the center, it's just more likely to fall down. Grab a little. Set it down. And slide in. So we've got our lovely handles here, and you can see this. This is where I was referring to. It's just not going to fall down. So probably don't need a lock here, because this is leaning to the left. You can tell that. So I think we're perfectly fine. In fact, if I were to pull on the handle from the strongest point this way, it's not coming here. It may budge a little bit, but okay, maybe it won't. So that's great. If you've got great ideas, maybe something that I did wrong, maybe something that I did right, kudos, that's awesome. Subscribe, let me know what your reviews are. As I said, in terms of sound, if you're really looking for it to get kind of like the next level, now that we've built this nice temporary sound barrier, the next thing might be to cover where you see a lot of the light. That will help a little bit. And then if you're really trying to get to the next level, like you're just like crazy about it, and I might have to too, just put some thick rubber on the other side, some soundproofing rubber. It'll stick most likely right to the back of this. Make sure this is a great opportunity for children to put stickers on, to paint, you know, get creative, have them express their creativity through opportunity. And this is a great blank canvas, and you could have them paint something on there, put stickers, put their artwork, and double up as an art studio. Have a great one and stay safe. I should mention, now comes the hard part.